This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today we're going back to the 1980s where choose your own adventure books were very popular. I used to read them all the time as a kid and I loved those. Well, now we're going to be able to play a game based on one of those books called The House of Danger. This is coming out for Z-Man Games. It's for one or more players and you're going to play through 5 different chapters of a choose your own adventure experience that has some game elements to it. So let me show you how it's played. I'm not going to spoil anything, but let me just show you how the game works in general and I'll see you on the other side. House of Danger has 5 chapters, each chapter taking 45 minutes to an hour roughly to do. Each chapter will have its own set of cards where you'll read through the story and make decisions about what will go on. Also, each chapter has a set of clue cards that you'll be getting, and sometimes you'll be finding things like weapons and things to use. You actually get to start with a bottle of water and a pocket knife. And these will help you out throughout the game. Each chapter also has a goal, like in chapter 1 you're trying to get inside the Martson house. Now over the course of the game, different things are going to happen. There's 2 sort of scoring meters here. The psychic scale is essentially like your score and you'll be going from different levels. And there's going to be certain things that happen throughout the game where it will change depending on what psychic level you're at. And also you'll come across challenges, so let's get a little bit into how the game works. So as you read through these cards, you're going to have some choices. For example, if you search the wall for a way in, you'd go to card 13. If you climb the gate, you'll go to story card 7. So depending on what you choose, you'll go to that card number. Now this isn't one of the cards that you could have selected, but I'm just showing you that sometimes you'll make choices and you'll die. But the cool thing is when you die, you basically just move 1 step back on that scoring psychic scale and you return to the previous card, so it's not the end of the game. Now sometimes you'll come across challenges. Some of them are optional and some of them are mandatory. It tells you what kind of challenge it is. This one is a fight type of challenge. Now you'll notice that one of the items we started with was a pocket knife and it has the fight. And if you use this, you can get a +1 because how this challenge works is all worked on the danger meter. You start at 3. And what this means is by default, in order to win, you'd have to roll this die and get 3 or higher. Now, if you win, we'd get to draw clue card 10. If we lose, we would raise danger by 2. So every time you lose, it gets harder and harder to win. But if you ever get all the way to the top, your psychic level will go down 2, which again is a way of sort of scoring in the game. But then you get to reset this. So it's sort of an ebb and flow as things start a little easier. But as you go on and on, it gets harder and harder, then you flip back. Now, if at any point in time you roll a 1, you automatically fail the challenge. So you can't, it's not always sort of a guarantee that you're going to win. Now also, you can have challenge boosters. Here's a pocket knife. This gives us a +1. If we want to, we could place this here for this challenge and the challenge booster, and we get +1. So we needed a 3. If we had that challenge booster and we had rolled a 2, well, 2 + 1 is 3, and we made it, we would draw the clue card. However, if you ever roll a 1, you actually have to discard this challenge booster out of the game. You've lost it for good. So using a challenge booster does have a 1 in 6 chance of really screwing you over. And then of course they also have different things that you can do after that as well, because it's an optional challenge. And as I mentioned before, sometimes you'll come across things that if you're at a certain level, these are in different levels, level 3, level 2, level 1. If you're at a level 2 or higher, you can get clue 27. So using this psychic meter, again, unlocks different things within the chapter. And you'll continue that chapter until you get to the goal. And even when you get to the goal, you have a choice to kind of go back and try to find things that you haven't yet found if you got through it a little bit faster than you expected. It's made so that you play 1 chapter per sitting because it takes about an hour. You can obviously play more than 1, but you can easily just play 1 within an hour and then pull it out another day and play all 5 chapters over a course of different settings. Now, as I mentioned in the overview, I loved choose your own adventure books as a kid. I used to read a ton of them. So when I saw this come out, I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't actually read this specific one, but from the same style and publisher, I did read some of these. Now this is basically a choose your own adventure, very immersive experience. You're reading through, you're trying to figure out what to do. If you like those experiences where you want to feel that you're actually there, and feel like you're in a spot and moving around and stuff, this definitely does that. Now the challenges themselves, sometimes they're optional, sometimes they're mandatory. I like that they tend to get harder as you lose more. So you go up the danger meter, which makes it harder to win those challenges, and it sort of spirals out of control, and eventually you're gonna get go down in your psychic meter and just reset. And now it's like, oh good, now the challenges are a little bit easier for us. So I like that, it worked fine. And rolling the die is somewhat random, but it works here. So I like that aspect of how that sort of works. It gets harder and then it finally gets easier once it resets. I like that you could basically lose a challenge with a 1. So even though a challenge might be easy, you can always sort of lose them. So I like that aspect of it. I like the challenge boosters that you can come across. That they help you with specific challenges, but you could also lose those. So it's like, oh, do I want to use this? Well, it's only going to gain us 1 extra number. If we roll a 1, we've lost it for the game because you can actually lose those. So I thought that was cool too, that you can boost some things, but it's like a press your luck element because you might lose it as well. So I thought that was a cool aspect. Now, I like that you can sort of, there's certain things that you can unlock at specific points depending on where your psychic level is. And so, maybe you're going to say, hey, if your psychic level is this or higher, then you can go here. Otherwise, you go here. And I think that's cool because it makes you sort of like follow some sort of arc to the story. You will die in this game, but I do like how dying is just a setback. I mean, you're just, okay, let's, flip back to this other page and start again and move this down a little bit. So you don't have to start all the way over again. You have to do a bunch of runs, but I like how it kind of kept the game moving, but it still hurt you a little bit, and I like that aspect of it. I also like that it's separated in basically like 1 hour chapters. So each chapter takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and you can play multiple chapters in a session, or you can just play 1 chapter in a session and come back to it another time. And so I liked how they sort of split that up, so there's some good stopping points there, and you can sort of save some things for later. I like that when you finish or you get to a goal at the end of a chapter, you don't have to stop. You can go back. When we played this, the first chapter that we went through, we actually just, I think, either randomly or we're lucky, we got through the first chapter pretty quickly. I think in about 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, and we didn't see a whole lot of bad stuff. We just must have picked all the things. We're like, well, this is very easy. Do you want to go through and try to find some other stuff? Yeah, let's. I think we missed some stuff. And we went back, and lo and behold, we got our clocks clean. We're like, whoa, look at all the stuff we kind of like luckily missed and made the right choices. We probably should have just left, but we did end up getting some stuff that hopefully will help us later. But I like that you have the option, if you just kind of get through, you can go back and look for other things. I like that you can play with more than 1 player. I played it with 1 other player, and it was fun. We took turns reading, we talked about the decisions. I think this can work fine for more than 1 player. Obviously, if you have too many, the decisions aren't that big that it might be cumbersome, but you can play with more than 1, it works fine. I also like that even though there's a board and a die, you're basically just tracking, 2 numbers, really, and you have a die. So you can really play this on a road trip. Track the numbers on a phone, have someone with a die or a randomizer on your phone from 1 to 6, and you can really just play this on a road trip. And it'll be fun, driving, listening to the story, talking about the decisions, hearing what happens. And I love games to play on road trips like this, so this would be a good one for that. So on the negative sides of things, now I know the art is for sort of an older book, but all the art is sort of charcoal drawings, black and white. I would have really preferred, since we are, many years later, I would have loved to have seen these images colored to kind of bring the sort of feel and look and feel of the book itself more. I know the book itself wasn't colored, just the front, but it would have been good to have all those images sort of colored for this type of experience. I thought it would have been more, more immersive, if you will. Now, the game itself, it might be too easy and too forgiving for some. Now, like I said, some of the good parts you don't get reset when you die, but the downside of that is it can be a little bit easier than some of the other sort of choose-your-adventure style games that are out there in the market. And this is a consumable game. Now, after you play it, if you didn't go back a lot in the chapters, you probably could play it a second time and try to go down paths that you didn't go. But after 1 or 2 plays, I'd say you're probably done with it, pass it on to someone else, or enjoy it, watch other people do it, whatever. And so consumable games definitely aren't for everyone, so you got to know that this is consumable. So it can be a negative point for some, but overall, I really enjoyed the game. If you're looking for that choose-your-own-adventure style thing that you could play alone or with others, it doesn't beat you down too much, but still gives you a good experience, then check out House of Danger.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.